Oh boy, when these three guys are representing you, you're in a world of trouble. Now, Michele Bachmann, Steve King, and Louie Gohmert, who are literally our three dumbest politicians, went over to Egypt to talk to General Sisi about how much they appreciated his overthrow of Mohamed Morsi. I was thinking, oh boy, I just wanted to do this massive announcement in Egypt. They do not represent us. These are the three dumbest people we have in Congress and maybe the whole country, okay? They're not really representing the U.S. Congress. Unfortunately, of course, the Egyptians are not going to get that message. Instead, after talking to General Sisi, they're going to get this message from the three congressmen.
We are here as members of Congress to say we're with you and we encourage you because together we've gone through suffering. Together, our country and the United States and Egypt have dealt with the same enemy. It's a common enemy, and it's an enemy called terrorism. Now the people of Egypt have spoken, and the people of Egypt rightly are asking questions about the American people and what our level of commitment is. And as members of Congress, we can speak for ourselves and for the people of our district. And I want to assure the people of Egypt that I, as a member of Congress, will stand strong in support of continuing military support for the United States support financially to stand for the military in Egypt.
Now, look, I remember when Nancy Pelosi once made a comment outside of the country during the Iraq War, and the Republicans lost it. How dare you not agree 100% with President Bush when you are abroad? You have to agree with what our leader says. Now, President Obama in this case has said, hey, we are worried about how you are treating the protesters after the overthrow of Morsi. And we have cut back a military exercise that we were supposed to do together. We're not doing it. And we are considering whether to continue to give aid. But now these three knuckleheads go and totally oppose American policy on Egypt, in Egypt, and they say, oh, no, yeah, don't worry about it, Obama, yeah. No, we're with you, yes, military, go crush them. By the way, there are estimates that 1,000 to 8,000 protesters have been killed. Now, that's not something to take lightly, but of course, these guys are authoritarian here in America anyway. They're right-wing, and they love it when the government crushes protesters. So they go pretending as if the American people agree with them and say, oh, you want to crush and kill the protesters? Yeah, go ahead. Don't worry about official American policy at all. Here's more from the knuckleheads.
We have seen the threat that the Muslim Brotherhood has posed here for the people in Egypt. We've seen the threat that the Muslim Brotherhood has posed around the world. We stand against this great evil. We are not for them. We remember who caused 9/11 in America. We remember who it was that killed 3,000 brave Americans. We have not forgotten. We know that you have dealt with that enemy as well.
I think you have forgotten, because it certainly was not the Muslim Brotherhood. It was Al-Qaeda. That's a totally different organization. Oh, she's so unbearable. Oh, yeah, it's the same enemy. Wait, Mohamed Morsi was democratically elected. I didn't like what he did after he was elected. I'm not in favor of him. I wouldn't have voted for him. But he's not Al-Qaeda who attacked us on, by the way, it's 9/11. Nobody calls it 9/11. Okay? God, these people are so monumentally stupid. And now Steve King is going to step up to the plate. God help us.
My name is Steve King. I'm a congressman from Iowa in the United States of America. We want to provide the resources necessary to support the Egyptian military, to support continued operations between the American military and the Egyptian military. And we as the American people stand with you, and we stand against the Muslim Brotherhood. The American people do not support the Muslim Brotherhood. We oppose all forms of terror and terrorism.
Oh, the American people don't support the Muslim Brotherhood. Oh, well, I'm glad you went to go clarify that, Steve. Really appreciate it. This is the same guy who clarified that Mexican immigrants here in America have cantaloupe calves because they spend all their time smuggling drugs in from the border. So, a great representative we have there. By the way, is there anything in the world that shines brighter than Louie Gohmert's head? I believe it's a signal and a beam to aliens saying, land here. So the bad, and the ugly continue with Gohmert now.
I must confess, I have been someone who is very skeptical in Washington about providing military arms, F-16s, tanks, money to Egypt, because I knew that there was a Muslim Brotherhood member, although he said he was a former member, but Morsi was in charge of the country. I was not in favor of providing money and arms to a country run by a former or present Muslim Brotherhood member. And my friend Steve King mentioned again about our heritage in America. George Washington, doing what no one had ever done before him, led a military in revolution, won the revolution, and then resigned and went home. No one had ever done that today. And we met in General Sisi, a man who was leader of the military, who might have a shot at being elected president, but is more concerned about giving his life to help his country, Egypt. This is a country America needs to be very good friends with now and encourage this incredible step down the road of liberty.
Now, again, it's not surprising these guys would be in favor of an authoritarian form of government. They would probably love military rule over here. They're as extreme right-wing in America as you could possibly get. And then finally, if you're wondering who's dumberest in Dumb, Dumber, and Dumberest, yes, we made that up. Although Louie Gohmert would probably believe it because he's the one. I mean, to outshine, literally, Michele Bachmann and Steve King in a dumb-off, you've got to have one good doozy there. And he delivers as usual with, General Sisi might be the equivalent of George Washington. Please.